Emsray Nation, Jason here. It is a great night. Who is out there? I see there's a bunch of you. We're streaming simultaneously on Facebook and YouTube right now. Who is already out there watching? Let me give you a shout out here. Dean, let's go is right. Good to see you. Phoenix, good to see you. Musfara, as always, great to see you. Amazing topic is right. Amazing topic. Michael, what's happening? Glenn, there it is. You know, Glenn, I just realized your profile picture is you squatting like as much as I weigh. Remind me to never get in a fight with Glenn, right? Dude's got 2 N's in his name as well. Chris Stater, I'm telling you, you can watch that volcano video. Danny Carson, Stewart, good to see you. Jason Murphy, what's happening? Bill Linfield, how are you, my friend? Long time no see. Bradley, Bradley, you kill me. James, Tim, MD, what's happening? Jonathan, good to see you again. Pedro, I'm looking forward to this too, man. Good to see you. Greg, what's happening? Hey, anybody first time on an M0A live stream? Greg just posted that. Anybody first time on the live stream? There's just so much, there's so much awesomeness to share. Excited. Dave G, I saw the dad joke there. It was a strong dad joke. What's happening, Clarence? Mike, what's happening? Love the beard every time. I just see that beard profile picture. It's great. Lori, hey there, right back at you. Melissa, Chris, Brad, many first timers. I love this. Joshua, all is well. My friend Mayor, great to see you again now, my friend. This has been a few, huh? John Kenyon's first time. My friend, you are in for a treat. Tim Sexton, that's right, his first time watching an M0A video today, right? I love it. Larry, good to see you. So many. Mike Rooney, Palm Beach. First time watching live for Jesse. Well, shout out to Jesse Bradley. Good to see you as well. Username Angry Lion, first time. Good to see you all on here. How much time we have left? 5 minutes. Jay in Chicago. Mark, first time. You all are in for a treat. This is going to be some awesome stuff. Oh, it's Mark's first M0A video. I'll make it worth your time. I promise. Cheyenne, great to see you. I'm ready for another great M0A vid. That is for sure. Hey, Fred, what's happening? Good to see you. Flight 101, good to see you, my friend. What's happening, Ken? Joe, as always, my Ocala buddy, good to see you. Tom, Coach Ray the pilot's here, everybody. We can really get started now. James, good to see you, man. All right. Hunter, as always, good to see you. Let's see. Larry, retired A&P. I love that. Randy Jones, look at that family. I love it. Matthew, Micah, I didn't know Micah was in Eufaula. Did you know that? In fact, I was in Eufaula not too terribly long ago. I didn't even tell you, Micah, I apologize. Mark, Nathan, never misses an M0A video. They're that good. I love it. Mark, Luca, Torta. That was a good Italian right there, huh? I'm working on it. Let's see. Paul, what's happening? My fellow helicopter pilot. Chris Ritchie, good to see you, my friend. John, good to see you. Walter, what's happening? Ken, happy and excited to see you all as well. Ken says his wife, Alyssa, is taking lessons now in a 1972 Cardinal. Well, tell her to come on over and watch this. It's going to be awesome. All right, we've got 3 minutes, Jennifer Johnson. 3 minutes, check 6 aviation. 3 minutes, Eric Pittman. All right? Let me rest my voice just for a bit because I just delivered a 45-minute presentation all about drones. And now we're diving into this. So anyways, looking forward to it. I will see you all back in 3 minutes, or if you're a real pilot, 3 minutes. M0A Nation, Jason here. What is happening? Hey, who's here for the double header? Who just watched the unmanned webinar I just did? Good to see you all on here. So thankful you're taking time out of your Monday night, right? I know some of you should be sleeping, everything else. I saw Jordan, you're on here watching from the UK. Any international people watching, staying up super late or waking up super early if you're in Australia or something like that, watching all this. Good to see you all on here. Hey, I saw we have a bunch of first timers. I already gave some first timers a shout out, but there's some other first timers out there. Put it in the chat. Welcome to the webinar. I hope just to not only over-deliver in the value proposition department, but my prayer before every live stream, before every video, is to make you a safer, smarter pilot. That is my vision for this. That is my goal in absolutely everything we do. So let me go ahead, give some shout outs to Aaron. Good to see you. Love the profile picture of the little one driving there. Terry, first time. Nathan A. Young, trying to pull jokes over this. Is like his 500th time. Larry on both videos, good to see you again. Larry as well. Roadrunner M, good to see you. What's happening, Anna? Richard, good to see you. Holly, good to see you. Holly, did you see yourself in the countdown? You looked awesome, by the way. Jason Martin watching over on YouTube, good to see you on here. Eskel as well. Jer, Clarence. Oh, John Rich is watching, everybody. John Rich, Pete. Good to see you. Vincent, hey Vincent, I like the new profile picture. Luis, first time. What's happening? Paul, my fellow helicopter pilot. Andy, Philip, Lane, Dr. Bill's checking in. Roger from New Jersey, good to see you, man. Andy Smith, there's John Verselli. Tracy, good to see you from Washington State as well. Coach Ray is here. CM Watts, fist bump right back at you, my friend. Andy, first time. There's my buddy Mark again. There's Anthony Jackson. Anthony Jackson, you are an awesome person. You know that? Hey, listen, so thankful you are here. Matt, Michelle, Roger, you're back for more, huh? In San Diego. Julio, Phoenix is represented. Awesome. Nathan A. Young says, I feel like you should have some coffee with some honey. I'd be up forever if that was the case. Hey, first off, this is interactive, if you can't tell. When I'm breaking eye contact with you all, it's not because I'm ignoring you, I'm actually paying even more attention, because I can see my buddy George, I can see username Fly with Parth, I can see Danny Carson, I can see Dora, CAP member from Miami, Jarrett, I can see everybody. Ed Kessler's working the road tonight. Ed Kessler, keep us safe, my friend. Nick, good to see you. Nicholas Gomez, good to see you. Hey, since this is so interactive, Tracy, Javier, username Angry Lion. I saw your question about the right seat, by the way. Let me save that for the end. I'll leave you hanging on that one. Rami, I have a question. Today we're talking about fuel exhaustion. I'm going to share with you 2 accidents that were caused by fuel exhaustion. But I need to know something, and this is going to tell me if we can be friends still or not. Who here drives and allows their low fuel light to come on? Just confess to it. Just confess to it now. If that's you though, just know the consequences. I don't know if we can be friends anymore. Ask Magda. I am so neurotic. The tank gets to half and she's like, where are you going? I'm going to the gas station. We're at half a tank. That's where I'm going. The other day, I haven't even told Magda this. The other day, yesterday, we were going to church, and church is far for us. It's like a 20-minute drive. I get in, and the car says 16 miles to empty. I said, Magda, thank goodness, like you're with a pilot who's always on time and ahead of schedule. We have time to stop for gas, but I am sweating going a half mile to the gas station when the car says I have 16 miles, but nobody trusts that. So where's everybody at with all this? I just want to know. I don't even let it get to. I previously had an electric car as well. You want to talk about really stressful because you got a time where you're going on that sort of stuff. I'd let it get to half. I was always charging. Max like, it says you have 300 miles. I know, but it holds 312, and I want those 12 miles. Darn it. I don't know. I'm just a little bit weird about that. If you let the gas light come on, I don't know if we can be friends anymore. So we'll see. But anyways, we're talking fuel exhaustion. So those of you who are like me, who when it gets to half, you fill up, will you share this on your Facebook, on your YouTube for all your friends who let the gas light come on and stress you out? Because they're probably the same people that eat, crunchy peanut butter and grape jelly too. I don't know if I can be friends with those people either. I've got standards, right? So What does the FAA have to say about all this, in theory, letting our gaslight come on here? Well, they give us something called 91-103, Required Pre-Flight Action. And we use the acronym here as NW, Northwest Craft, craft with a K like the macaroni and cheese. Now you'll never forget it, right? And the F in craft macaroni and cheese stands for what? It stands for fuel required. Fuel required. I, as the pilot in command, must become familiar with everything in 91-103, including the fuel required for my flight. And some of you might be thinking, Jason, how are you going to spend an hour talking about fuel exhaustion? It's pretty simple, Jason. I gas it up and life is good. I would argue it's not that simple. We wouldn't have the around 50 fuel exhaustion related issues every single year if it was that simple. Can I ask another question? What's the difference between fuel exhaustion and fuel starvation? Anybody know the difference? Fuel exhaustion versus fuel starvation. I'll let you put that in the chat, see if you know the difference, while I work to kind of tee this up a little bit. We're going to look at two accidents tonight, and I want you to focus on, unfortunately, how similar these two accidents really are. Yes, they're both fuel exhaustion related, but one is actually in IFR conditions. Could you imagine running out of fuel? And by the way, it's an 1/8 of a mile visibility, and you run out of fuel. By the way, everybody survives. Everybody survives in all of the accidents we're sharing today. Fuel exhaustion, by the way, some of you are asking. Fuel exhaustion means I physically ran out of fuel. Like I've exhausted the storage supply of fuel. Fuel starvation is I have fuel, it's just not getting to where it needs to go. Fuel starvation could be as simple as fuel selector in the wrong position. That's a fuel starvation issue. If you remember back to day one of the 31-day Safer Pilot Challenge, interviewing Chris's engine failure on final was a fuel starvation issue when they found basically a polyester rag in the fuel line. That caused a freak accident, caused fuel starvation. Now we're going to talk about fuel exhaustion. And you need to think about it this way. Some of you, again, are saying, how are you going to talk about this for this long? Fuel exhaustion accidents happen every single year at big air shows like Oshkosh and Sun and Fun. People fly these big, long cross countries and don't plan to hold or don't plan to wait. Go try to fly into some busy old airports, right? Go try to fly into Addison, Texas. Go try to fly into Peachtree. Go try to fly, just lately trying to get in and out of the Naples airport or leave the Naples airport. The other day I was like, I think I was number 6 for landing. If you don't plan for these things and don't plan for the go-arounds and everything else, the only time you have too much fuel is when you're on fire. I know it's a silly pun. There's weight and balance issues and everything else there, but that's what we want to dive into here today. Now, before we dive into the accidents, I want to share with you something I have. Now, many of you know this. Dr. Bill, I know you know this. Carlos, you for sure know this. Coach Ray, Pete, you all know this. I teach the 3-hour rule. I teach the 3-hour rule. What does the 3-hour rule mean? In my 172, and the numbers mean different for everybody, but in my 172, 23 Mike Zulu, from the moment I start the engine, I start the time, to when I shut down, that timer, that clock better not say more than 3 hours. My book says I hold 4.5 hours of fuel. I've never tested that theory. I've never done a run out. I don't know if that's healthy for the engine anyways. I've never tested that theory, but that's why I operate on what I call the 3-hour rule. From start to mixture pull and shutdown should not exceed 3 hours. And there's taxi time in there, there's descent time in there, there's all these sorts of things. I just do 3 hours, right? That's it. I want to be landing when it says 2 hours, 59 minutes, which John Rich made a good point. He goes, Jason, that's about my bladder time anyways. All pilots need a bathroom break with that as well. So let's keep the 3-hour rule in mind as we look at our two accidents here. I'm going to read to you directly from the NTSB report. Dave G and a few of my ground school members, John Rich, this one will be familiar. We just talked about it a few months ago. I'm going to just leave this image up and narrate this real quick, then I'll share with you the accident. On April 14th, about 2019, at 22:15 Eastern Daylight Time, a Cessna 172, number 52906 hotel was substantially damaged when it impacted a building and power lines during a diversion to John F. Kennedy Airport. The pilot reported that on the morning of the accident, he and his passengers arrived at the FRG airport about 6:30 and departed for IAG, Niagara, arriving about 11 o'clock. They spent the day in the area, then departed with a direct route to FRG, as you can see, well, direct-ish. There was some weather though. While en route, the pilot reported that his planned route was changed by air traffic control, which increased the en route time about 40 to 50 minutes. Shouldn't be a big deal for ATC to add 40 to 50 minutes. Frustrating, but shouldn't be a big deal. 40 minutes more than he expected. Once arriving at FRG area, he attempted an ILS approach to runway 14, which resulted in a missed. He attempted the ILS approach again. On his attempt, he saw some lights, but was unable to see the runway and performed another missed approach. The pilot attempted the FRG ILS 14 approach for a third time. We've now shot 3 instrument approaches. And during the approach, he noticed that there's something wrong with my heading indicator. And he realized he was zigzagging, his words, thankfully we have his words, on course. So he began to have a passenger in the back seat tell him what heading was being displayed on his electronic flight bag application, the iPad. And then he thought maybe diverting to a bigger airport would be better, so he diverted to JFK. The pilot reported there that he attempted 3 ILS approaches to the runway 22 left at JFK. The first 2 resulted in missed approaches, and on the third attempt, the pilot reported the fuel went out and the engine totally stopped. During the power out descent, he flew the best glide speed, and at about 100 feet above the ground, he finally saw the ground and saw streetlights and made a left turn towards the road. Let's play this video here together and listen to the pilot's voice as it increases and gets more and more intense.
Main tower, November 5296 Hotel, runway 22 left, ILS, booster.
November 5296 Hotel, Kennedy Tower, wind 180 at 13, runway 22 left, RVR 5000, runway 22 left, clear to land.
Runway 22, clear to land, November 5296 Hotel.
And 5296 Hotel, all the lights intensity is at the highest setting.
Okay, thank you, November 5296 Hotel. I will make this time.
Roger, thank you. You appear left of the runway, sir.
Okay, I'll go. This is work here, November 5296.
96 Hotel, you appear east of the course. Do you have the runway in sight? Do you have... 96 Hotel, you do have a runway 31 left. He's currently off your right-hand side. If you're able to land runway 31 left.
I will try runway 31 on November 5296 Hotel.
96 Hotel, the lights are currently all the way up. We have a 32 heavy, go around, climb and maintain 3000.
Maintain 3000, go around, Eva 032 heavy. So
070 heavy, go around, fly runway heading and maintain 3000.
Okay, go around and radar heading 3000, Starway 070.
96 Hotel, runway 31 right. It appears you're lining up for 31 right. 31 right is currently closed. 31 left is available. It's at your 11 o'clock, 1 mile. Lights are all the way up. We're putting the ILS up as well. 96 Hotel, are you able to heading 220?
Yeah, 220. Okay, fine. November 5296.
96 Hotel, verify heading is 220.
220. November 5296.
96 Hotel, do you want to try to get into, would you like to try to go on approach again on 22 left, or you're going to land immediately runway 31 left?
Is there any airport like that doesn't have a ceiling around here?
The closest airport is JFK, currently about 3 miles just to the west of your position.
How is the weather guys in there?
1/8 visibility, stat street miles, 1/8.
What is visibility?
1/8 of a stat street mile, 1/8.
1/8.
96 Hotel, if you want to do a 180 at this time, it's heading of 270.
I will go for the island. Please, yeah. But can you make it shorter?
Yes, you'd like runway 22 left or runway 31 left?
22 left. Make it shorter.
We're to give you 296 Hotel.
I'd like to have a 22 left, island, and can you make it shorter approach?
Yes. Six Hotel, fly heading 050, heading 050, 96 Hotel.
050, 296 Hotel.
96 Hotel, if able, maintain 2,000 on altitude.
Maintain 2,000 on altitude. 5296 Hotel.
96 Hotel, let me know if you're able a frequency change, please.
Okay, 2,000 I can make a frequency change.
96 Hotel, contact New York approach 125.7 for sequence for runway 22 left ILS.
Okay, 125.7 for sequence, ILS 22 left, 296 Hotel. Approach 115 296 Hotel, request the 22 left, John F. Kennedy ILS.
5296 Hotel, fly heading 040, turn right now, heading 040.
Turn right, 040, November 5296 Hotel.
5296 Hotel, plan ILS 22 left approach, turn right turn heading 060.
060, 296 Hotel.
296 Hotel, do we have any idea on how much fuel you have until complete exhaustion?
I'm not sure, like in 10, I'm not sure, in 15 minutes?
5296 Hotel, roger. Understand you want to shoot the approach again into 22 left?
Forward 22 left. I cannot see any runway right now, so I gotta shoot the approach.
5296 Hotel, roger. Descend, maintain 1,800, turn left heading 260, intercept localizer 22 left.
260, 1,800.
5296 Hotel, 2 miles from Zalpo, heading 260. Maintain 1,800 to establish localizer. Cleared ILS, 22 left approach.
Okay, 280 and 22 left for approach. Maintain 1,800. And approach of 1818, how far out are we going again?
I don't know. I got this guy disoriented, just about completely out of fuel. He tried 4 approaches to Farmingdale. This is the second approach into Kennedy. So right now, Kennedy's shut down for this emergency aircraft.
Okay, we're going to be in fuel in a matter of minutes.
All right. 5296 Hotel, you cleared ILS 22 left approach, contact tower 191.
Contact tower 191, 5296 Hotel. Tower 5296 Hotel, request ILS 22 left, full stop.
5296 Hotel Kennedy, tower, wind 190 at 13, runway 22 left, RVR 2000, midpoint 1,800, rollout 1,600, runway 22 left, clear to land.
Runway 22 left, clear to land.
Yes, that's what I think. Tell the wind is 190 at 13.
Can you make a running light like really bright?
The lights are on as bright as they can go for 96 Hotel.
Thank you.
You're still about 4 miles away. Yeah, you're still 12 o'clock and about 4 miles for the runway. 12 o'clock and 4 miles.
So, yeah, 12 o'clock.
And the runway's still about 3 miles ahead. 12 o'clock and 3 miles. current RVR is 2,000, midpoint 1,800, roll out 1,800.
Honorable fuel, 590 hotel.
I'm sorry, say it again, you're out of fuel? We got about 2.5 miles to go. I think that's a low altitude alert. I'll come in at 2963.
So, as you can tell, I mean, by the way, like, I'm stressed right now. Just listen to that. Who is stressed just a little bit? Who got a little cortisol dump or whatever? I apologize for that. Who's a little stressed just listening to that? John Rich, I think it was you that made the comment, like when you get that, you could hear the panic in his voice, and it becomes hard to think when that adrenaline really dumps in that situation. This is our 6th approach. For those of you who don't know what the controller was saying, RVR, that's runway visual range, it was as low as 1,200. That's the visibility measured in feet. Like you can see 1,200 feet. I'm stressed after just listening to all this. You ready? You ready for the real crazy part? Check this out real quick. 3 people on board, 1 pilot, 2 non-pilot passengers. Got to 100 feet, as you heard the low altitude alert when I cut the video. Got to 100 feet, literally saw nothing. Your engine has quit because of fuel exhaustion. Yes, everybody survived, by the way. Beelined it, turned straight for this street, caught up in the power lines, and didn't really even make it to the ground. The power lines kind of caught him there. You can tell, thankful to get out on the ground. Look, even the beacon's on, left the master switch on and just hopped right out of that thing and said, I am getting out of this airplane. Here's another angle of landing light on and everything. I am getting out of this airplane. I don't blame him one bit. I imagine those of you in the JFK area, maybe you remember this. This wasn't too terribly long ago. This was 2019. Power was out in that neighborhood for a few hours, if I had to guess. Thank goodness for the power lines is right. They probably saved these 3 pilots' lives when you look at it that way. Let me tell you something. The further you push it in the airplane, pilots who hurt themselves or can make it in the NTSB reports are some that keep going longer than they should. Dave G, I saw your comment earlier. You're saying it was low IFR all day. They shouldn't have ever been flying. Brian, I saw your comments in there too. By the way, Brian, great to see you. Talking about asking ATC. At one point he asked them, didn't he, Brian? He asked them for a short approach. When I think of short approach, I think of like a power off 180. And the controllers were asking if he could see runway, what was it, 33 left or whatever it was. The guy's at 1,700 feet. He couldn't see it at 200 feet, let alone at 1,700 feet. Let me tell you, the controllers did their absolute best job. They were served up a really crummy card in that situation. But this is a situation that should have never occurred because that 3-hour rule. I saw someone comment earlier, you should call it the Gilligan rule, the 3-hour tour, the 3-hour rule. I get it. I like that too. We should have added a fuel stop. Really, we should have never been flying. I'm going to make a bold statement. General aviation aircraft, like a little 172 like this, have no business flying around in 1/8 of a mile visibility. You have no business. In fact, if you want to look at the approach plates for Kennedy, I'd imagine 1/8 of a mile visibility is probably below the minimums for our category of aircraft as well. There was no fire. I see Ms. Farr, you posed that. There could have been an electrical fire from hitting the power lines. There was no fuel on board, though, to start a fire thereafter. And this pilot and his 2 passengers are very, very thankful to be alive today. So there's a lot we can really learn and take away from this. But before I tee up our full presentation here, I want to share with you just one more. And I want to share something interesting with you that I want you to think about as you're listening to this. I don't have a video for this. I just have pictures, and we'll listen to the ATC audio over this. This is a gentleman in Tennessee. makes a successful land on the highway. It's funny, you'll listen, the controller literally kind of vectors him for it. So you'll kind of hear that here. It vectors him for the road. You'll hear it in a second. This you'll learn is the pilot's first flight in this airplane. You know why? Because he just bought the airplane and he's flying it home. You know, sometimes in a new airplane, maybe a long cross country isn't the first and best thing to really do. So let's listen in on, what is the tail number? Something X-rays, first flight home. Let's listen here together.
Cities Airport, A145 X-ray.
Number A145 X-ray approach.
Yeah, A145 X-ray, I'm Bob, I need to put her down.
November A145 X-ray, say again, are you declaring an emergency?
I'm declaring emergency.
November A145 X-ray, Roger. What assistance do you require? What's the nature of the emergency, if you can tell me, and what are your intentions?
I'm going to assume I just had fuel exhaustion.
November 45 X-ray, say again, I'm sorry, that was broken.
I believe I have fuel exhaustion.
November 45 X-ray, Roger. The Virginia Hollins Airport's about 6 miles east of you. You don't think you can make it there? Right now, your altitude's indicating 4,200.
That's correct. Can I make that?
November 45 X-ray, I don't know if you can or not, but it looks like, if I'm not sure, are you able to just glide it down to Virginia Hollins? November 45 X-ray, if you can tell me the persons on board and the color of the aircraft, please.
A145 X-ray, just one person on board, and it's blue and white.
November 45 X-ray, Roger. Can you tell me fuel remaining?
Well, it sounds like she's trying to run.
All right, November 45 X-ray, Roger. Again, the Virginia Hollins Airport right now is about 5 miles northeast of your position. Do you want to continue towards Virginia Hollins, or do you see somewhere that you might be able to put it down?
I'm looking. I don't know if I can find a spot to put her down.
November 45 X-ray, Roger. The only thing I can tell you is Interstate 81 is about, I-81 is about 2 to maybe a mile and a half southeast of your position.
Well, I see it. Which direction should I go?
November 45 X-ray, if you want to head towards the interstate, again, it's at southeast of your position. The closest point would be right heading a 140 towards I-81.
Yes, I have right in front of me.
Number 45 X-ray, affirmative. It's about a mile and a half off your nose if you're heading southeast now.
Okay, and which direction should I put her down on?
November 45 X-ray, I can't tell you that, sir. It runs southeast to northeast, or correction, southwest to northeast towards Virginia Hollins, actually.
Roger that.
Number 45 X-ray, use caution. There are obstructions about, the first one's about a mile southwest of your position at 2,000. November 45 X-ray, did you copy? There are multiple obstructions to the southwest, extending to the south of your position. The highest one's about 2,900, or is 2,900, and the lowest is 2,000.
Okay, 145 X-ray. She's trying to run on and off.
All right, November 45 X-ray, Roger. What are your intentions, sir? We'll get somebody on the phone, and we'll have them meet you there.
I'm going to go northbound on 81.
November 45 X-ray, Roger. So you're planning on putting it down on 81?
I don't think I have a choice.
All right, November 45 X-ray. Use caution. Radar contact is lost. I do not see you any longer. Frequency, if you want to stay with me as long as possible, that's fine. You can stay on this frequency and just let me know.
Thank you.
November 45 X-ray, if you can still hear me, there is another obstruction about a mile and a half southeast of Virginia Hollins, 2,600. November 436 Alpha Tango, contact Atlanta Center 125.15.
2515, 6 Alpha Tango. 45 X-ray, 1 Alpha Tango, I can read you. Four 5 X-ray says he's down on 81. Down on 81.
I'm sorry, calling Tri-Cities approach, say again.
Try that again.
Who was calling Tri-Cities approach, please?
45 X-ray, sees exit 10 sign. 45 X-ray, sees exit 10 sign.
All right, there's somebody that's broadcasting on Tri-Cities approach control frequency. I think you're talking to November 45 X-ray. If you could, let me know what your call sign is and relay that information, please.
This is November 721 Alpha Tango. I am relaying for 45 X-ray. He put it down on 81 and he sees exit 10 sign.
November 721 Alpha Tango, Roger. You said he sees exit 10 sign on I-81. He is down on the ground safely.
That's affirmative for 721 Alpha Tango. That is the broadcast from 45 X-ray.
Number 721 Alpha Tango, thank you very much. If you don't mind, stay with me for just a moment and let him know that we are getting some people on the phone and just anything that he might need to, if you could relay that to us, we'd appreciate it.
Roger that. 45 X-ray, this is 721 Alpha Tango. And if you, would they have relayed your information to the emergency crews and they have people coming your way?
I'll cut it there. They're just going to go back and forth a little bit on helping relay these down safe. He's out on the shoulder and everything else, as you heard there. Again, you listen to this, and you got to listen to the other one in New York as well. And I want to ask you a question in the chat. Where are the big differences? And where are the similarities in this? I'll point some out. I was watching the chat as y'all were talking here, and you're saying, is ATC flying or is he flying? And I get that. I could hear that a little bit as well. He's asking questions like, can I make it there? And we're all thinking, you're the pilot in command. You should know how far your airplane glides. To his defense, though, he just bought the airplane, right? He probably doesn't know how far it actually glides. He's just asking for any help he can get. And when he was asking which way he should land on the road, I took it as he was maybe asking, where's the wind coming from? What would be most advantageous? Not which way as well. But I saw this and I thought, wow, there was one who worked so well with controllers, the whole scene opened up. I'm declaring an emergency. Now, I think he declared an emergency a little bit too late when the engine actually had shut down, right? Whereas in the JFK accident, he literally said how much fuel, it was the controller speaking up going, something's fishy here. How much fuel does this guy have? 10 to 15 minutes. I think the controllers declared the emergency on his behalf. Thus, they shut down Kennedy and everything else, although he never physically declared an emergency. This gentleman in Virginia or Tennessee, or I think he was heading to Tennessee, the crash happened in Virginia, not a crash, by the way. You saw they put it on a flatbed trailer and drove it on out of there. I tried to look and see if the airplane's still flying. I don't know if I just bought an airplane and had an emergency right away if I'd want to keep that airplane, even though it was, we'll call it pilot-induced. By the way, both of these accidents were pilot-induced. They both have that in common as well. This gentleman experienced headwinds that weren't anticipated. And let me tell you something. Not only headwinds that weren't anticipated, you know what else he said in some of the news interviews? He trusted the fuel gauges. I don't know if you saw the airplane, but it was like an old 172B. Who knows that in old 172s and probably Piper products and just old airplanes, you don't trust the fuel gauge. Who has what I like to call old shaky in their airplane? The fuel gauge that just goes like this, and it's sometimes true, it's just all. Anybody else fly with old shaky? I know I'm not the only one who's flown an old airplane with old shaky, and you can't trust old shaky. So what do you do instead? You physically get out of the airplane, you get your fuel stick, and you stick the tanks. That is what you do. You visually check for fuel. Some aircraft, like a Piper product or Cirrus, will have the tabs as well, so you can get down and physically see how much fuel is in there. But let me tell you something. Make me a promise that you're not going to trust Old Shaky, okay? Gone are the days of Old Shaky. I need you to go ahead and instead stick the tanks, visually check it, use things like time, and time is great, but if you leave the fuel cap off, time goes out the window as well. Dummy check and check all of that. Put it in the chat. I'm done with Old Shaky. Who is done with Old Shaky and trusting that? I need you to physically look out there and say, not this time, Old Shaky. I'm not trusting you. You know, something else. And again, share more similarities that you saw in there as well. One that on YouTube, Check 6 Aviation, I see your comment, said even worse is New Shaky. Yeah, there's New Shaky out there too that just does those floats. I don't know, if y'all want to start, I was telling everybody in the drone webinar, good business to start, US drone manufacturer. Another good business to start, Accurate Fuel Senders. You call the business No Shaky. That's a bad name, don't run with that. But anyways, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. You always visually check and you never trust Old Shaky. And I do the dummy check and double check and triple check. Let me tell you something. I see Angry Lion on YouTube posted, Old Shaky holds true for boats as well. I don't know what it is. It's just old things, right? Old aircraft. Certainly not old people. There's an old shaky here. So anyways, you know something else that I noticed here, and I've talked about this a lot on Inflight Coffee, so those of you who watch on Saturdays for Inflight Coffee, I'm sure you know, thanks for the promo, Magda. What's over here? Inflight Coffee, Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook. I've shared this a lot lately. You know what both these accidents also have in common? Thanks, Coach Ray, for the hashtag Old Shaky. You know what these also both had in common? They both had one pilot on board. In New York, it was 2 passengers, non-rated. A pilot, by the way, the pilot had his commercial pilot certificate. This pilot, sole pilot on board, had just bought the airplane. One pilot. You know what the data shows? Let me show you the data real quick. If you look at all the accidents in a given year, and you look at them by certificate level, you know instrument pilots lead. Instrument pilots lead the category when it comes to accidents. Look to the very, very far right for me, by the way. In fact, one of the lowest, is it the 3rd lowest category? First off, student pilots, golf clap, you all rock. You're one of the safest sport pilots. You all rock. You're one of the safest out there. Having a second pilot on board, look at the number, is safer than flying with an ATP. How is that possible? Why is it, Brian, my buddy Brian Lesko, good to see you, man. Why is it, Brian, that having a second pilot on board, just 2 private pilots just putting along in 2-3 Mike Zulu, why is that safer than just Jason, an ATP, flying by myself? Why is it safer to have 2 pilots on board? Put it in the chat. And then Micah, I'll answer your insurance question here in just a second because we talk about that quite a bit. And then Andrew, I want to talk about your point too, a non-pilot second passenger. But yeah, look at the chat coming in. Craig, you're spot on. It's half the workload. Avnow, I see, try hard to protect their friends. I mean, those were his friends in New York sitting in the back seat too. Luis says, from the airline world, 2 brains are definitely better than 1. Brian, an extra set of eyes. Teamwork, says Mark. You're exactly right. John, another set of eyes. Hey, Marty Miller. I lost Marty's, but it was something about less chance for overload. Sorry, the comments are coming in so quick. There it is, less chance for overload. Luis, I like that. Checks and balances. Someone to cross-check you, says Coach Ray. Responsibility. Yeah, you see, this is CRM. CRM stands for what? Crew Resource Management. It just takes one person to speak up and go, I don't like Old Shaky. Do you mind if we just land and fuel up? One extra person to say, like Dave G said, this sounds like the start of an NTSB report. One extra person to be sitting in Niagara Falls. Great place to be, I'd imagine. Haven't had the privilege. But looking at JFK weather on ForeFlight and going, it's an 1/8 of a mile visibility. Farmingdale's a 1/4 of a mile visibility. Why don't we just, what a problem having to hang out in Niagara Falls for an extra day or an extra few hours. It's just one more person speaking up. Now, some of you made the point, well, what if it's my spouse? What if it's my friend? What if it's my son or daughter? while I don't have the data on that, I'm going to make the argument that a second set of eyes is better, assuming they have some aviation knowledge, assuming you invite them into the conversation. Because some pilots will do the, don't talk while I'm flying. And there's a place for a sterile cockpit, but you want to create an environment where your son, your daughter, your spouse, your friends have the freedom to speak up. Like, hey, what's that blue stuff that's coming out of the wing, right? Why is that cap bouncing on top of the wing over there? Why is there oil here? Watch out, there's birds over there. Hey, they said there's traffic 11 o'clock. Which way? Oh, that's this way. Let me help you look for that traffic at 11 o'clock. When you take the time, and we just did a whole episode. That's you see Chris Stater on there. It was his wife Cindy that we flew with, and you saw Eric Pittman's on here as well. His lady Taylor we flew with. Non-pilots. Now Taylor wants to be a pilot though eventually, but Cindy said, "Listen, I just want to be the best co-pilot I can be to Chris. How can we work better as a team?" John Rich, I love your comment about leaving the ego on the ramp. You have to, and just because they're not a pilot, they still have the ability to speak up. You know, I've shared this story with you many times. And it's still on my bucket list of dreams to do. I want to go to the Miami Boat Show. And I live in Florida, so it's not that hard to get to the Miami Boat Show, but I share that in jest because there was a time when we were flying the Tecnam and we were heading to the Miami Boat Show for the day. I still haven't bought a boat, by the way. Magnet says, we need to go to the boat show before we buy a boat. I just want to buy a boat. I'll take boat advice after the webinar here. We're heading to the Miami Boat Show, and it's just all these things compound. There was construction, a new hangar being built, and the plane was covered in all this dust. It had to sit outside that night. It was covered in dust. So I spent the time cleaning the plane off and sumping out all this dust. The line guys forgot to fuel up the plane, so now we're running late because they're fueling up the plane. One of our passengers tripped over the landing gear and was bleeding down his leg, and I'm like, all these things are happening. Then finally we get in the airplane, and I'm getting frustrated. It's hot. I'm trying to start the plane, and the plane won't start. And Magda reaches from the back seat, because we let one of our friends sit up front, and puts her hand on my shoulder and literally says these words, "Jason, you need to do what you teach." I thought, wow, you need to do, and because I can sit here, and there's, I don't know, 600 of you watching this live right now, many thousands will go on to watch the recording. And I thought, you all listen to me. I need to listen to myself as well. She said, "Jason, do what you teach." Master off, mixtures off. We're not going to the boat show. Still haven't been to the Miami Boat Show. I share the story in other videos in greater lengths with that. But John Rich, that's what your comment reminded me of. You got to leave your ego really back at the house, because even driving to the airport, you're thinking about all of these things. And there I was, putting all the ingredients to an accident, building the chain of events to an accident, because I felt I just had to be somewhere. And again, do what you teach. Matt said it to me once before, as Dave G did. This sounds like the start of an NTSB report. Good job, golf clap, Magda. Good job on that. So, as we look at this, first off, now you know, a second pilot makes you safer. So who is your second pilot? You should be tagging them in the chat right now saying, "Hey, Jason said you need to learn to fly and come fly with me more." I mean, you can cut this part of the clip and just show that to them. If you send your spouse, send your son, daughter, your friend, whatever that is. But before we open up for questions, I need to ask of a promise from you all. Talking fuel exhaustion, really anything, will you make me a promise here? Will you make me a promise to adopt some version of the 3-hour rule? Maybe you call it the Gilligan rule, a 3-hour tour. Maybe you call it the 3.5-hour rule. Maybe like my buddy who has a Bonanza, he has the 5-hour rule when he's full. He has the 3-hour rule when he's at the tabs. That plane just holds a whole lot of fuel. Whatever the rule is for you. Thinking back to the New York accident, will you have your hard set personal minimums? Let me tell you something. ATP, II, 10,000 hours, I wouldn't have been flying that day. And that's easy to say in hindsight, right? We don't know all the pressures and everything else, but that day exceeds my personal minimums. What I want you to walk away from here today is to understand that if you have any fears, you have any doubts when you're flying that airplane, if you are flying along questioning, do I have enough fuel to make it there? And if you're having to run the mental math in your head, you need to stop, right? You need to stop and you need to land somewhere. Because this isn't like we go ahead and we call AAA or anything like that on the side, and we land on the side of the road, right? We don't just pull over and call AAA. Will you make me a promise? Just put it in the chat, I promise, or hand raise emoji or whatever. That if you have any inkling of a fear or a doubt of if I'm going to make it, or let me take it a step further, if you have to think about the weather, you've made the decision for yourself. If you have to think about the weather. I shared, I don't know if it was on Inflight Coffee with the online ground school members not too terribly long ago. A gentleman got 3 separate weather briefings within like an hour of each other. If you have to double check with a briefer 3 different times, hoping for better weather, you probably shouldn't go, right? So I need you, thank you Micah, thank you Craig, thank you username Scood, thank you Megan, John, Pinky Promise, right? Whatever you gotta do, I don't know if those emojis exist. But yes, Danielle, thank you, Roger, thank you, Mo, thank you. Yeah. Listen, if you have to think about, do I have enough fuel? If you have to think about, maybe the weather will get better. No. You land the airplane. You live to fly another day. Because let me tell you something, aviation can go from a blessing to being very unforgiving all too quickly sometimes. And the thing is, you're in control. You are the pilot in command. You have the final authority as to the safety of this flight. And you know what? These are the things they don't teach in the book. These are the things that they don't even teach for on the check ride. These are the things. And you got to see 2 good instances, by the way, of working with air traffic controllers. You also know in that 91.3 pilot command responsibility, you also have the power of the most powerful word in aviation, which is unable. Those of you who watched In-Flight Coffee where I shared about the Cirrus crash, you saw that. That was a pilot who should have used the words unable. This is a pilot, these pilots should have said unable to themselves, right, first, before they put these controllers in perhaps a crummy situation as well. Unable is a powerful word. Leave your ego on the ramp in everything that you do. And if you have any fear, any doubt, you do a run up and something just doesn't feel right, let me tell you, that's the day you don't go flying. You know, the day I had my engine failure on takeoff, my gut said something didn't feel right. The engine didn't start like it normally did. And I lost cylinder number 3 at 400 feet on takeoff and was just blessed to be able to nurse it around the pattern and land the airplane. That was a low point in my life, right? These things happen. Aviation is all about good decision making. I can make you the best stick and rudder pilot since a Jaeger or a Rickenbacker or a Hoover, fill in whatever name you want to fill in there. But if I can't teach you how to make good decisions, your amazing stick and rudder skills are all in vain. You have to make good decisions in everything that you do. So with that, I want to open it up to your questions. Look at that, right on. This is rare for me to be so on time with everything. Hey, and by the way, I see a bunch of amazing online ground school members like Michael J. McMurray and John Rich and so many others out there. Hey, if you're not a ground school member and my teaching style really works for you, you can check it out for free for 2 weeks at m0atrial.com. We do in fact, there's another webinar tomorrow just for our online ground school members. We'll be talking about expanding our horizons in aviation, so something fun to check out there. Private, instrument, commercial, FOI, we have you covered on all of that. Where are my amazing ground school members at? Will you tell all the non-ground school members the amazingness they're missing out of with the courses, with the videos, with the aviation mastery method, the new LMS, everything else. So ground school members and alumni, throw up a testimonial in there for me if you wouldn't mind. There's a question down below about the right seat. We'll talk about, where did it go? Is Roger. Roger asked about the right seat. Why do I always fly in the right seat, Roger? You know, it's funny. I'll share a story. So whenever Magda and I fly, Magda always sits in the left seat. And whenever we come to the FBO, they come in and the line guys, they always come over to Magda and they go, hello ma'am, how much fuel would you like? Would you need any? None of them ever want to talk to me, right? They want to talk to the person in the left seat. So, and Magda plays it so well. She's like, yeah, that was my landing. She's really good at it. That's just what she does. When I fly solo, though, even if I've pulled up to the right seat, the line guys come up, they come to the left side. Oh, he's not over there. He's over there. I fly in the right seat, Roger, to confuse the line guys. No, I fly in the right seat because that's just where I fly better. I have so much time in the right seat. If you've ever switched from left to right, you know what I'm talking about. There's a thing called the parallax effect, and I just have this muscle memory of this. I can certainly fly in the left seat. I've done it. I did it flying with Hunter in the video you saw and everything else. Just more comfortable in that right seat. I did it flying with Cindy, right, Chris Stater? So I can fly in the left seat. My landing wasn't that good, though, was it, Chris? I just land and fly better in the right seat, is what that is. Coach Ray wants to know, when does Magda take her written and check ride? I don't know, Magda. How's that coming? Yeah, she's picking another question. She's picking another question. Cole, thanks for your lifetime membership, my friend. Good to see you. She loves John Rich's comment. Flew into a glider competition once because I was sticking to my 3-hour rule. I was willing to take the heat to be safe. Listen, I'd rather you take the heat from the glider pilots than take the heat. Speaking, we'll be talking about gliders in a few videos here soon. Instead of taking the heat from the highway patrolman asking, Mr. Rich, why are you on my highway? You know, that's the tough part. So anyways, questions, comments, how do I recommend transferring to the right seat? You got to get out there. You got to do it. And the name didn't pop up with that one for whatever reason. I apologize, but it looks like you're in the Missouri Nation, so I'm sure I know exactly who you are. You've got to practice the tough stuff, though. Things like steep turns are very, very challenging. Pick a perfect VFR day, hop yourself in the right seat with a CFI in the left seat or someone who knows how to fly in the left seat, and get out there and practice those steep turns. Practice the slow flight, practice the stalls, and then practice the landings. They're not going to be pretty, so just be ready for that. Aerobatic Adventures on YouTube posted, lost a fuel cap in flight. Done it before as well. Almost all the fuel was exhausted by the time I landed. I now look behind my wings every 10 minutes. This is why I do the dummy check. And being 6'4", it's easy to get up on a high wing. Low wing, I can just peek outside. So anyway, so that's super. Hey, while Magda's looking for more comments, can I share an update? I need to share this update. It is this important. Many of you have been asking about Aviation Mastery, the book. Well, this is a proof, and I want to brag on the cover here in just a second. Aviation Mastery, the book, shipped to the Missouri office, was lost on a train. My aviation book was on a train. That makes a lot of sense. It just arrived in Jacksonville, Florida today, and should be in Ocala tomorrow, possibly Wednesday. So next time you see me, probably on Wednesday, we'll be at Ocala. Sign in books. So excited about that. I got to brag on the cover. I love the Aviation Mastery book cover. Let me take this rubber band off of it. Magda's going to be mad at me for doing this. So can you see the cover? I changed the cover. I was on the cover. I realized that's not practicing humility, Jason. Do you see how it looks like there's a little guy on top of a mountain there, but it also looks like the runway, you know, it's wet and it dries in a weird pattern like this, but it's actually a guy conquering the mountain. That is Aviation Mastery, and that is what the book cover really means. So these should be signed and be shipping sometime next week. So looking for, or the following week. Yeah, I shouldn't make promises. With that, aviationmastery.com if you still need a copy. And you don't have to wait as long as everybody else waited with that. So that's exciting. Okay, let's talk, Missouri Nation. Questions, comments, anything, I'm going to say anything aviation related is fair game. Anything aviation related is fair game. Adam Thomas, wow, what's in the parking lot for 2022? Where is the parking lot? I think the parking lot's at the house. Wow, I would need to go through the parking lot together. There's some good top secret stuff in there, Adam Thomas. Thank you for that. He's talking my parking lot. I have a book of all my ideas that I write down that aren't ready to be executed now, but they'll be executed in the near future. So anyways, John Rich, thank you for the kind words. Let's look, if you need a copy, aviationmastery.com. The website probably is still going to say like pre-order. It's technically still a pre-order. It'll say pre-order and a bunch of stuff and everything else there. It's all donation based. So all these books, all the profit from these books go to the M0A Foundation. So it's donation based on how you'd like to do that. all donation-based, and the profits go to fund the high school aviation programs and aviation scholarships and more on that. Drone programs, we're doing some high schools right now. So some cool stuff with that. Roy, do I offer IFR test preparation? Do I ever, Roy? Roy, you know you can use M0A for written test prep, check ride prep, and at the end of the day, making a safe real-world pilot. If it's just a little check ride tune-up, Roy, you know you can get our book, Pass Your Instrument Pilot Check Ride. I recommend it on Audible. Where are my audio check ride audiobook people at? Walking your dog, at the gym, cooking, sleeping, whatever it is. We have private, instrument, and commercial, all available on Audible. Anywhere you can buy an audiobook, basically. You can get paperbacks too, or ebooks if you want. I like listening to that as well. But anyways, you can check all that out. So some super, super stuff there. Woody, see you tomorrow too, my friend. Looking forward to that. Yes, and then also, and was Andy that asked? Check out the ground school as well, m0atrial.com. Check it out for 2 weeks with that. Thank you for the kind words, everybody, on the audiobooks. Every Tuesday, I do about a 2-hour, hour and a half webinar with our ground school members in addition to all the content and everything else. So we're always doing something fun with that. Dean was listening to the audiobook at work today. I will not tell your boss, Dean. Don't worry. So, John, inside the online ground school, John was asking about what about the written exam? Use the ground school for the written exam. I have something called the FAA Written Test Prep Boot Camp, and that's inside the online ground school, so you can check that out. Lori, you did miss it, but Lori, let me tell you, you can always go back and catch the recording. It should post to YouTube here in just a bit. So, Andy, saying hi to you. John Rich, I see Andy saying hi. Says Mama's on a business trip, so we're watching it. Andy, I saw all your adorable pictures on Facebook, by the way. I think it's awesome. Let's see. Katie, I love flying, but I'm always terrified about losing an engine. Is this normal? Well, let me tell you a weird thing, Katie. I don't ever tell my passengers this. I didn't tell Magda this for a long time. I play a weird game when I fly on cross countries. It's called, I keep it to myself, where would I go if my engine quit right now? It's just a weird, anybody else play weird games, right? Some of you play like Angry Birds, is that still a thing? I play where would I go if my engine quit right now? I'm always watching that site. When it gets too far away, I pick my next one. And that's just how that works from there. No, I'm not fearful of my engine quitting. I have confidence in the systems and in the engineering, but I also have confidence in the skill set that's been placed in me that should I need to, instead of hitting the panic button, I have that skill set to fall back on. I hope I never have to use that skill set though. So just something to ponder. You know what? You can't operate from a place of fear in aviation. Aviation is this weird balance where over here is the cocky pilot and over here is the lack of confident pilot. You've got to be somewhere in the middle of the spectrum. If you're too cocky, you'll hurt yourself. And if you're not confident enough in your skill set, you will get hurt. You've got to be somewhere in between. You have to be confident in your skill set, but not overly confident, and that is the balance. Check 6 Aviation asked about going to Sun and Fun. We will be at Sun and Fun. Looking forward to that. Hangar D, I think, Magda? Hangar D, same spot as we've been for many, many years. Brandon says, how much is a full retake with the same DPE? With the same DPE question, how much do they charge? It's going to depend on the DPE. Retake fees, I don't know, $300, $400. An initial check ride, though, they're going for $600 nowadays. It's tough. Luis, I like your comment. Humble confidence is a good way to put it. Glenn, you can't find the book online. Which book are you looking for, Glenn? If you want the audiobook, just go on Amazon. Type in Jason Schappert on Amazon, and I guarantee it'll come up. Don't forget, there's a C in there, S-C-H. Everyone forgets the C sometimes, and forgets 2 P's. Hey, Ron Musser, good to see you. How's Kim? I mean, Ron, good to see you, but we want to see Kim. I can see Kim in your profile picture. Tell Kim that we miss you guys. I see you guys are going on cruises everywhere. Again, it's awesome. Abnav asked, is the ground school for Australians? While it is built for FAA certification, we have a large contingent of international ground school members because Mr. Bernoulli and his principal don't change. Good decision making doesn't change. Aircraft systems don't change. Cross-country flight plan doesn't change. Rules and regulations do, but weather doesn't change, right? So if you're willing to get through the regulations issue, check it. You know what? Check it out and do a trial. m08trial.com and just see if it's even for you. Before you spend any money, there's no credit card required for that trial. Just check it out and go that way. By the way, $800 for a check ride in New York. That's getting a little crazy with stuff. Let's see, Michael. I don't have plans for Aviation Mastery on Audible. I've thought about it. I like to read it myself, and my schedule has consisted of a lot of 4 a.m. mornings lately, as Magda will tell you. If you can see, my eyes might be a little bit red. There have been some long hours put in here. Just doing an audiobook is not on. It's not in the parking lot. Not in the parking lot right now. Ron, that's super. Robbie, thanks for the kind words about the boot camp as well. Roger, relocating to Florida, want to take a discovery flight with Missouri. So Roger, Magda and I just invested in the flight school Rex Air down in Naples. And that would be an excellent place to go do stuff. By the way, Rory commented the Missouri trial is great, and he's in Australia. So that answers. Can we plug the Aviation Mastery website again? Yes, aviationmastery.com. Do we still have that lower third, Magda? She's over there working a million things. aviationmastery.com for the book as well. It didn't come up, Magda, if you hit it. Sorry. She's working the chat. She's doing all sorts of stuff right now. So there is that. Other questions? Other comments? There, Magda just posted it on, was that person? Yes, on Facebook. They asked on Facebook, but they asked in the group. I don't know if that'll show up there or not. Either way, you can see it over right there, aviationmastery.com. It's moving. Joseph, Rex Air does not have a tail wheel right now. Although, you want to hear something fun? Tomorrow's video, you'll be graced by the presence of world famous Jamie Beckett and his great hair. He'll be teaching all about tail wheels in tomorrow's video for YouTube and Facebook, so check that out. Hey, do make sure, by the way, you subscribe. Are you subscribed here on YouTube? Do you follow us here on Facebook? Make sure you do that as well. Also, make sure, are you following us on Instagram as well? Been posting some really cool stuff on Instagram, some cool tips with some reels and everything else. So I post Instagram I use for a lot of like personal behind the scenes, a lot of personal flying, stuff that doesn't, you get to see a very polished product here. Instagram I use for a lot of fun behind the scenes kind of stuff with that. So let's go find that. We can scroll up. There was a good comment, a little bit more. Micah and Eufaula. Best tips for the FOI exam. Well, avoid rote memorization, which is an FOI term going into it. The FOI exam is tough because I want you to learn really how to teach. And unfortunately, they teach you to avoid rote memorization, but then most places use rote memorization to remember these sort of things. You know how you do it? You get out there and practice it in the real world. Now, I know there's just some, the levels of learning and everything else that you're like, I've just got to get through this. I've got to create my acronyms. And that's a great way to do it as well, Micah. But Micah, start to implement some of those things and say, okay, if I had to teach this to somebody, how would I do it? And that's going to be the best way to make it all stick for you. Someone was asking about Aviation Mastery, the book. I'm going to say weeks, right? Magda's telling me to say 2 weeks. They should be here. Tomorrow. But listen, it's been on a train for 2 weeks. So, and I'm hoping, by the way, they arrive in great condition and didn't print the wrong book or print them. I have certain pages in color and everything else. I'm hoping it's all good. So. I'll keep you guys up to date, but you can order if you haven't already ordered. I'll keep everyone up to date via email and everything else. I'll post it up there on Instagram, so do follow us there on Instagram. All right. Other questions, other comments. Like I said, tailwheel flying is tomorrow, so a great video on that. Mohammed asked, getting ready for your airline interview. I don't know if Brian's still out there watching. I can't speak, I never went the airline route, but let me tell you something. I can tell you from a business standpoint, I want to see your logbook beautiful. I want to see you, dressed like a professional. I want to hear all about your flying history. I want to hear all about you. Now, I can't get into the technical aspects of these sort of things, right? But that's, from the business standpoint, the kinds of things I want to see with that. Tim, good question. This is his first video today, by the way. Double I first or MEI first? Any thoughts? Was the last video about commercial Coach Ray, was the Commercial Pilot podcast, wasn't it about that exact topic, about the route I went? I want to say, Tim, go listen to this month's, February 2022's Commercial Pilot podcast. I talked about doing commercial and then CFI and then everything else and kind of shared that there. Either way, get your single eye first, unless there's a big multi-engine demand or something. I went single eye, double eye, MEI. And I did MEI much, much later with that. So fantastic. Other questions, other comments? Alex, I haven't been to Peter O'Knight in a while, but it's not too terribly far from us. Jordan, what are the best ways to back up your logbook? I love an electronic logbook. I'll let you be the judge of which one's the best. If anybody wants to put them in the chat. I love a good electronic logbook. Keep it up to date with paper, but have an electronic logbook. Here's some other things, by the way. For those of you who watch Inflight Coffee, which is a show I do every single Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to get that right one of these days. Right there. It's opposite. I got to remember it's opposite, Magda. Every Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern on the M0A Facebook, I make a cup of coffee on a Saturday afternoon and just talk airplanes with you. I'll have a little topic. Episode 100 is going to be March 26th. Episode 100, we're going to do something big. If you're in the Naples area, we'll probably do it at Rex Air. And of course, live streaming as well. No promises on that. But that's going to be super, super fun as well. Episode 100. It's going to be action. I might make 2 cups of coffee, Magda, just to keep going. And like, I don't know, we'll have to have a snack to keep me going as well. But you won't want to miss that. So make sure you follow us over on the M0A Facebook page as well. Steve Nowak, good to see you. Brant, I told you I'd rock the two watches. Adam, good to see you. Again, wow, dealing with fuel exhaustion. Wow. All right, let's see. My good buddy Snake from Airport Beach. I'm surprised that username was available, my friend. Remember, riding the fence and the all. I remember that. You know, and I still see pictures from that come up on my timeline. Good times. Hope you guys are doing outstanding. I see stuff on Facebook from the girls post. So, all right, let's see. Trying to become a private pilot. Hey, listen, if you are getting started, please, privatepilotblueprint.com. Everything I wish someone would have told me before I started my flight train, how to save time and money in the process. And again, this isn't a sales pitch. I'm just telling you what we offer. And again, we're here to make you a safer, smarter pilot. Alexis, I will personally be signing that book this week. Thank you so much for that. Alexis, you've been following us for how many years now? It's been a long time. I know that for sure. So thank you so much for that. I've seen you over on the Ken Heron stuff. You were just all in on aviation, Alexis. I love it. Dean, you know, I've thought about that. Dean said I should start streaming In-Flight Coffee on YouTube as well. We get a big audience. We had 600 people here between the two. That's awesome. Yeah, I've thought about that. My problem is, Dean, on the technology aspect of that, maybe someone can help with this. A lot of times I'm on the road. It's a Saturday, right? I could be on the road, could be at an air show. How do I simultaneously go live to Facebook and YouTube when I'm just on my phone? I mean, I guess I could do Magda's phone and my phone and split the mic or something like that, or use the onboard mic, but that's just another issue I have to deal with. So it's easier here when I have the software to do it. Cole Young, one of our great lifetime members, did 4 hours of simulated instrument day, mentally exhausted. Didn't we just talk about that on the webinar last week, Cole? It is mentally exhausting. It's like you want to go home and take a nap after that. I'm totally with you. Bernie says, I have my blueprint book, or gave my blueprint book to another student, and she gave it to another. I think it's gone through 10 people. I absolutely love that, my friend. This is a book not to just sit on your shelf. This is a book to keep passing on. Where are we'll call them blueprint alumni, my blueprint readers? Thank you for that. There's almost, when this was printed, there's 35,000 copies in print. I bet it's pushing about 50,000 copies in print, which for a little aviation book, I mean, it's no John Maxwell book or anything, but it's getting up there. So, Adam, I have not been in the Cub lately. The cylinder number 3, we have a 1940 J3 Cub. Cylinder number 3 was low compressions, and just with all the shortages of everything, there's a shortage of 65 horsepower Continental cylinders too. So that was an issue. Mayor, yes, asked about becoming a lifetime member. So we only do lifetime members once per year, and that's already passed, but I promise you, I just talked to Sarah about this, if you email Sarah and ask nicely, you gotta be really, really nice though, Mayor. If you say, Jason said I have to be really, really nice to you, I'd like to hear more about lifetime membership. I bet she'll send it over, but you gotta be really, really nice, okay? All right, let's take a few more questions, and then it is way past my bedtime. On YouTube, how tall am I? Well, let me tell you, I got to be 6'4" by getting all my sleep. And lately I've been, like I told you, waking up at 4 a.m. and that hasn't been happening. But I do need to go to bed soon. So that's that. Adam, you got 6 of them sitting on the shelf? We already found one, and we reconditioned it. A65, they were so hard to find. Because Adam is hoarding them all. That's why I'm teasing you. On YouTube, Go Animation said, hey Jason, what should I expect when doing my check ride? Remember, your check ride is your first flight with a passenger. That's how I look at it, right? You are the pilot in command, you have that final authority in everything that you do. Chris Stater called me shorty. He's 6'8", so he's allowed to say that. As far as that check ride goes though, I mean, again, you know how to prep for the oral exam and everything else, but you treat that flight, you are the passenger, you make the decisions. You can use the check ride examiner like you would use a passenger to help you out with all of that, but that's where you need to focus on those things. It'll help a ton with all of that. All right, let's see. Eric Pittman, anything I want to announce? Eric Pittman, I get in trouble every time I announce. I'm going to get in trouble for saying I'm going to ship these in I'm going to change it to 3 weeks now. Magda says, tell everybody 3 weeks. I'm changing my statement to 3 weeks. All right? Anyways, let's see. Tell Taylor we need a cake for episode 100. That's what Magda can type me messages. She just typed tell Taylor. She spelled Taylor wrong though. No one knows how to spell Taylor like that. Tell Taylor we want a cake for episode 100 of Inflight Coffee. So you better come down with that. All right, what else is happening? Tim, what is my, this could be a whole episode. Coach Ray, you want to answer this question? What is my strangest ritual in aviation? Mine? I mean, other than I'm a little neurotic. Magda, how many dummy checks? Magda, you want to tell? Come on, if you're going to tell them, you got to come on camera. She said, no, yeah, sure. Okay, tell me, Magda, what is it?
At least 3 dummy checks.
At least 3 dummy checks.
If you fly solo.
If there are
passengers,
yeah.
they will go around that airplane.
Literally, the passengers are sitting in the airplane. So what she's saying, if I'm solo, it's 3 dummy checks. If I have passengers, it's even more than that. In fact, she gets mad because she's sitting in the airplane. I told her, yeah, hop in the airplane. She's in the airplane. She's got her seat buckled and everything else. And I'm like, I have literally been in the airplane, seatbelt on, shoulder harness on, seat in the right position, key in the ignition. Let me check one more time. Can't make this up. Seatbelt off, kick the seat back, keys out, and run around the airplane. Just check one more. I'm neurotic about that. Lane says pretzels. That is the official in-flight snack of Jason Schappert and M0A. I don't know why I always eat pretzels when I fly. It's just a good flying snack. Magda made me, did you see the picture in the M0 Nation? She made me like this chia seed bowl, and there was just blueberries all over the airplane. You never get pretzels all over the airplane? I don't know. So it's pretzels. It's always pretzels. Other weird rituals? I don't know. There's a lot of Jasonisms. I'm very weird. Adam, you're right about chocks, tow bar. I'm weird about vernacular. Have you ever noticed that? Now that I say it, you'll notice every time. I cringe when people say private pilot license. You know what the funniest thing is? We get, and maybe you've been guilty of it, I still love you, but you'll see all the comments, you know, Jason, I passed my PPL today, thanks to you, thanks so much. And I just think, man, it's a certificate, but congratulations, right? I always congratulate them, of course. It's a certificate, right? Hashtag certificate. We need to start doing that. 2 watches, yeah, that became a Ken Heron thing. Yeah, I'm weird about words that people use, like certificate or license. What else is there? Coach Ray said he did a pre-flight when he got to taxi to their Mexico. Thank you, Coach Ray, I've trained you well. I'm weird about when people say, people want to report turbulence. Are you ready for this one? We're going way past, I'm sorry. Now, this is M0A, like after hours now, right? I'm very weird when people report turbulence as light chop. People will call up and report turbulence as chop. You ready for this? The definition of chop is a rhythmic turbulence that you could literally like set your watch to, like a metronome. That's the definition of chop. Just because you're getting bumped around and it seems choppy, that's just turbulence. Chop is literally like going over moguls skiing. It is rhythmic, but people will report everything as chop. I don't know. Coach Ray, what are other Jasonisms that I have problems with? Coach Ray used to keep a book of Jasonisms, of things that people say that bug me. I mean, don't ever say tally-ho on the fish finder, that's for sure. That's a no-go. Hunter says, bring in a fanny pack to the pre-flight. Definite no-go. Would never in a million years do that. Oh, when people say with you. 23 Mike Zulu, with you. I used to say with you, so I had to break that. Any traffic in the area, please advise. Yeah, Chris Stater. Ooh, don't like that one bit. I've got issues, and I'm working on them, and I will work through them. I promise. Oh yeah, Magda told me another one. When people are in the pattern, they say, white Cessna turning base. I'm thinking to myself, have you ever seen a Cessna that's not white? Like with white Cessna turning base. Come on, just tell me your tail number, right? Ron says, PPC doesn't have the same ring to as PPL. Yeah, when I think of PPC, I think of business as pay-per-click advertising. Roger Wilco. I don't mind Roger and Wilco when they're used appropriately. Wilco mean will comply. Roger, that's CB talk. I don't know. Making a left turn, or someone calling left final, that's another one. So anyways, those are Jasonisms, right? See, Tim, look what you did. You just derailed me for 15 minutes, but it's all good. Other questions, other comments, anything else?
Jasonisms,
yes.
Join us on the webinar.
Yes, oh yeah, if you want, that is true. Oh yeah, was that the webinar, Inflight Coffee? We came up with the Piper Plop.
And the SOG thing.
Oh, on the ground school member webinars. Yeah, we talk about the Piper Plop and some other, we have a lot of fun. You know, you get to see a very professional Jason on videos, but sometimes we get to cut up and have fun with all that. All right.
Oh, look at Kate.
Katie says, my 60-year-old pilot dad says with you. He didn't like it when I told him we don't say that anymore. Listen, let the man. 60-year-old pilot dad, he's hashtag dad for the win, all right? I say, Katie, let your dad say with you. And just say, Dad, I'll be with you anytime we fly. I love it. I love it. Lori, have a great night. Good to see you. Jason Lewis, great name, says we reference your videos daily during my lessons. Thanks for all the knowledge. Well, thank you, my friend. John asked for help with the private pilot written exam. My friend, don't go the rote memorization route. I hate it when people say, oh, just memorize the answers. I'm telling you, when you memorize the answers, it's not going to help you when that big fan in front of you called the propeller stops spinning. Remembering that when you see 23, the answer is B, is not going to help you when the prop stops, okay? I need you to remember and learn the why behind it. And that's why you'll find in the ground school, I know you're going to pass your written test. I know you're going to pass your check ride. At the end of the day, I am here to help make you a safe real-world pilot. And in the ground school, we take the written test and give it its real-world applicability with all of that. So, mzuritrial.com. Seema, preparing for the first solo. Congratulations in advance. I love first solos, one of my favorite things as a flight instructor. First and foremost, Seema, you need to remember that your instructor, I don't care if they're 100 pounds or 300 pounds, when they get out of that airplane, it is going to fly differently. It is going to rip off the ground like you are a fighter pilot. They're going to call you Maverick when you come around the pattern. By the way, Michael J. McRae, I saw your comment earlier. It was great, by the way. Right? It's going to fly differently. It's going to float differently. So you need to be ready for all of that as well. Get ready for the change in weight and balance with that. There's Michael's comment. Can we show it? It's really good. He says he's been getting a bit upset with ATC lately. They don't let him do a flyby and declare that the pattern's full. It happens. Hey, when's top? You all want to, everyone was mad that Aviation Mastery was delayed. You know what I'm mad about? I'm mad that Top Gun 2 is delayed. Because when it finally comes out, I already invited Tom Cruise to come to a Top Gun 2 party. And if not, I'm going to get a Tom Cruise look-alike and not tell you guys. And you'll just think Jason brought Tom Cruise to the party. We're going to do that. Mark, thanks for the kind words on the flashcards, my friend. Appreciate that. All right. Lori, first solo coming up as well. Awesome. Alex. Ooh, Alex, good one. I like that. Alex, love all your memes, by the way. When the tower tells you to fly the upwind, but you're clearly on the departure leg. Did you know that? Do I need to get the aim out? Is it too late to bring the aim out? If you look at Magda saying, please put the aim away, Jason. This is how I fall asleep at night. Oh, 135 ops. I would love to learn about that. Yeah, exactly. Did you see the picture? I stole Magda's Swiss cheese over sandwich, and she got mad at me. I was trying to demonstrate her the Swiss cheese method. Anyways, what was I talking about? In the aim, remember, when you depart, you're on the departure leg, not the upwind leg. The upwind leg is actually a leg that is parallel to the runway. fun fact for the day. All right. Justin wants to know when and where is the party. I'm serious. I want to do a Top Gun 2 watch party. I don't know where we're going to do it. Let's somebody rent out a movie theater. I guarantee there's how many thousands of people are going to watch this. Someone watching this owns a movie theater. Let's do it at your movie theater. That's what I'm saying. I'm not even kidding. I don't care. I'll travel. A Top Gun 2 watch party. That's all I want. June 26th, says Lane. Lane, they've been giving us dates for a while though. All right. Anybody owns a movie theater or knows someone that owns a movie theater, that's where I want to do it. If not, we're going to rent out a movie theater and make it happen. All right. Let's see. Username Beep wrote my 107 next to the most disruptive PPC test taker. He was obviously the half a time. Don't be that person. I'm always weird about FAA testing centers when they put you like next to somebody like cubicle style and the person's like so loud next to you. Yeah, I'm not into that either. All right, Lisa's in. Joe, of course Joe wants to do it in Ocala. I mean, Epic could rent it out. We could see that. Listen, anyways, I'm into that. John Rich has a movie theater in his basement. John Rich, how many people can you fit in your basement? Because I'm interested. I want to sit next to Andy though. So just make sure Andy's there. That's important. All right. Hunter says, I have a projector if that works. I mean, we could try it. I don't know. Sean says a drive-in theater. I don't care what it is. Somebody hook us up with a movie theater and we're going to maybe we'll do a few, an East Coast to West Coast, I don't know. But I'm into a Top Gun 2 watch party and Tom Cruise. And Jordan Penn, I saw he's a Tom Cruise lookalike. I mean, a little bit. All right, we'll do that. John Rich has a 135-inch screen in his basement. I mean, I'm interested. I asked how many people you could fit, though, not how many eyeballs can see the screen. All right, John Rich, if you'll post your address in the chat for everybody, we'll be there June 26th. Thanks. It's 123. Is it in Salt Lake? I don't know. He's somewhere in Utah. We'll find it. Don't worry. Utah's not that big. We'll find it. All right, back to the topic at hand. Check 6 Aviation on YouTube says, one of my stumbling blocks on the written was the performance graphs. Oh, aren't they tough? I thought I was doing the right. It's just one of those things you need to practice doing. You know what's funny? On those performance graphs too, those are actually geared towards like a Piper product. You may be flying a Cessna or a Cirrus and they're totally different. But you gotta learn how to do them that way. And again, I break those down for you. Those are ones you can't really memorize. Please don't memorize those. Learn how to truly do them because they're giving you the foundation. That's what this is all about, is having that strong foundation to fall back on when things hit the fan. It's a little hard to get to because there's so much stuff. You know, I had the giant E6B out last in-flight coffee and everything else. So that's that. All right. Any other questions, any other comments other than John Rich and why we are, he lives somewhere in Utah. Just everybody Facebook stalk him now. That's the John Rich from Big and Rich. Big and Rich, he's the Rich in Big and Rich. Plays guitar, sings country songs. He was on The Apprentice, that guy. So I believe he has a 135-inch screen in there. That's the house we're going to. So if you don't know any Big and Rich songs, you better brush up on them, like the Tractor Sexy song and that sort of stuff. All right, let's find some more. Jennifer Gates, awesome. Said traveling for that, I like it. What's happening, Tracy? I love Tracy's profile picture because I wish I was half the fisherman that Tracy was. But there's ways to make the fish look bigger in the pictures, I saw that. How long does it take for the FAA to get back to you on the steps you need for your deferred after your physical? I haven't heard back yet. Tracy, there are many on here. I won't call them by name, but I know 2 for a fact that are on here that have fought the good fight with the FAA. Who be willing to, you can just type in me if you want to, who has fought the good fight with the FAA on medical issues. It is a time-consuming process. Patience is a virtue with that, my friend. That's why it's so important to get your documentation in right the first time, so there's no back and forth with that. So that's fantastic. All right, Jarrett, still fighting. Jennifer, dealt with it. Yeah, sometimes you fight the good fight with the FAA. Adam, good comment. Best way to get my wife started on the radio. You know what I did with Magda? I started very, very small with it. I started with the check-in calls on flight following or IFR. Contact, Jack's approach 118.6. And that was tough at first. So then we switched to Jack's and I said, hey, do the check-in call. Jack's approach, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, level 7,000. And they're probably gonna give you an altimeter back. Be ready for that. And we would just start with that is where we were working. So Anyways, also the remote pilot course, if she has any interest in that. Our remote pilot course, I know Magda went through that, it helped a ton as well because there's a radio communications element with that as well. So, many others, again, still fighting the good fight with medical stuff. I'm telling you, we could start a whole support group with it because it is a real thing. Some over some silly things, some over some serious things, but it is very, very challenging with that. So listen, M0A Nation, it is way past my bedtime, all right? Both watches say so. So anyways, let you all get going to bed too so you can be rested and recharged for work and everything tomorrow. But I just want to thank you. Thank you so much for being such a blessing. Tomorrow, the Tailwheel video posts. March 26th is episode 100 of Inflight Coffee, and April 15th, you ready for this, is M0A's 15th birthday. April 15th, 15 years ago, I made the very first post on a little website that nobody looked at called M0A.com. We'll be celebrating that on April 15th, tax day and a birthday. I mean, what gets better than that? So a lot of great other live streams coming up thereafter you'll have to check out. I'll be sharing details, emailing you all that sort of, I don't have Facebook events created or anything like that for those just yet. So I'll be sending you all details via email. Again, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, everything else. So we'll be posting that. It'll be a lot of fun. Some giveaways on both of those events. So listen, have a blessed, outstanding, amazing rest of your night. Great. I hope this is just an awesome start to your week as well. My prayer is always to make safer, smarter pilots and to save just one life. And I hope we did that here today. Have a blessed rest of your night. And most importantly, remember that a good pilot is always learning. Have a great night, everybody. I'll see you.